Hello, everyone. Welcome. Episode 57, MTL Sports Podcast. We got a good show today. In-season tournament. We get the semifinals coming up tomorrow, I think, and the finals on Saturday, so we'll talk about that. But first, we got NFL Week 14. We're going to preview some games of the week, all that good stuff. Plus, college football playoffs. We finally have our top four teams, a little controversial. And then, some discussion about that. So with all that being said, please stay tuned. NFL Week 14. We got 4 more weeks or so. But anyways, we're going to go over our games of the week. Do you want to go over any of the games from last week since we missed Mondays due to technical difficulties?
No, I'm okay. Everyone knows what's happened at this point. Everyone's gotten the gist.
All right, move.
Congratulations. I remember I did say the Bengals would keep winning games, and you said no. You said no way. You said let's tank it. You said let's tank.
We would win another game or two.
No.
And Jake Browning was cooking.
Zach Taylor was cooking. I'm the only one that had belief in the Bengals here. So don't even try to tell me anything like that.
Don't listen to him, guys.
He's a hater. He's a hater on his own team.
No, I just want, good old Brock Bowers or good old Marvin Harrison Jr. Is that too much to ask for?
Oh, you're not going to get him at your pick anyways.
You don't know that. Games of the week. Let's break them down. What is your first game of the week?
Jets, Texans.
Really? With the reluctant Zach Wilson to start?
Zach Wilson's going to come back. He's going to go off.
After A-Rod flamed the Jets yesterday on Pat.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you watched that, but that was pretty funny.
I did.
Can we stop and talk about Pat? Like, he's been on a roll. Pat has been cooking. Like, his shows, I watch every single day. He's been cooking.
I've been watched his shows. I haven't just started. I've been watched his shows.
No, I'm saying I just started this year, but I'm saying, like, the past 2 months, he's been cooking, like, all the gas and just...
Hey, Pat knows what he's doing. Pat has friends in different area codes, kind of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's basically going to be the face of College Game Day in the future because, that's going to die out for what it is now. Because, what's his name? Dang, I forgot his name.
Talking about the old guy?
No,
yeah, he's old. But, I mean, they still have Desmond Howard and Kirk. And
no one cares about Desmond Howard and Kirk.
Come on, be nice.
That's not what we come here for. We come for the old man to put on his headgear at the end of the show and the special guest every week. And, Pat McAfee's been getting good special guests. He's been getting the special guest to be on the day before on the Friday show that no one watches really, but we watch the highlights of, and they're always good. They're always great. But no, Pat McAfee knows what he's doing. But anywho, yeah, I mean, Pat McAfee knew when he was inviting Aaron Rodgers on that show. Aaron Rodgers had some grievances to say, and I think it was completely all honest. There's no way that Zach Wilson was like, no, I don't want to play for that team anymore. There's absolutely no way. Like,
no way.
There's no way. Someone was just trying to clown him and be rude to him. Like, it is what it is. I think he's going to come have a good game. I think the Texans are always a beatable team. They're young and stupid. So they're always beatable. They get a lot of penalties. So it's a team that's you can beat, especially at home. Whether or not they will, who's to say? But I do like covering the spread, especially with that under that they have in place. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be a better game than everyone takes credit for, especially with C.J. Stroud versus Sauce Gardner. I think that's just something that no one's talking about, especially with Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell is gone for the season.
Oh yeah, he messed his leg up big time.
Without one of his big weapons, there's less weapons to worry about. So you're gonna have Zach. You're gonna have You're gonna have Sauce Gardner on Nico Collins and
yep.
Robert Woods. He's not gonna beat out Moore on the side. I mean, they're just. I think that there's a good chance Jets come out of this with a W, But I also think there's a good chance the Jets come out here with a fat under hitting and spread hitting. So that's why I'm going with the Jets here. I just think it's more of an upset game, not as the best game of the week. I just feel like it's an upset spot, especially with Zach Wilson. I think he has a lot more to prove a little bit because, I mean, we watched this team play for the last 2 weeks with the quarterbacks they placed in there, and they look 20 times worse than Zach Wilson. So
Tim Boyle and Trevor
Trevor
Siemian.
Siemian, they
There's
look
a reason why.
horrible.
There's a reason why since he cut him and played him like the entire last preseason game when we were there in Washington, and Jake Browning only played one series. There's a reason why. All right.
Yeah, I mean, they were just horrible. But it also showed you just how bad the O line is.
Yep.
It looked way worse when it was not under Zach Wilson. So maybe this O line plays a little harder for Zach. Who knows? But I just feel like the Jets here, a little bit of a baby upset, especially after Aaron Rodgers comes on goes on Pat McAfee and defends Zach.
Yeah, I like that. I also like Ocho defending Zach too on Nightcap. He was basically saying the same things. Like, why are people saying this about him? Like, it's obvious that Zach's upset because you benched him, put some other guys in who did worse than him, and then you come back pleading, "Hey, I need you to come start." And if you're Zach, you probably are pissed off. You're like, "What? You just benched me? Now you want me back? You want me to be behind this horrible offensive line that you have Nathaniel Hackett, who's a horrible coach? You want me to go back and play for him?" I would be a little reluctant too, but I wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm quitting on you guys." So I think it's good that a lot of like old guys are like standing up for him. Let's see here. My game of the week. Let's see here. I'm gonna go. I mean, there's obvious two. I think there's two obvious games that we think are gonna be games of the week. But I'll start with maybe an outlier. Seattle San Fran divisional game. Gino did cook last week against
If I said Brock Purdy
let's mute that. Gino did cook last week surprisingly against the Cowboys defense. I was not expecting that. I have Gino on all my fantasy teams, and I immediately subbed him out. In one league for Jordan Love, in another league I picked up Jake Browning. Thank God I did, but no, Gino cooked last week, and it seems like the wrist issue is fixed, I think. And this week, Kenneth Walker I think he's back to questionable. So we'll see if he plays. If he does, that'll be a big pickup for them because their rushing game was pretty much non-existent last game. So if they get another weapon back, they'll be in San Fran, divisional game. They play each other twice a year, know each other very well. I think it'll be a great game because especially how they came out last week, they definitely know that at this point they're fighting for their playoff lives. Because the NFC, just like the AFC, is wide open. And 6-6 is not the best spot to be in, but it's not the worst. And you want to close out strong anyway. The last couple weeks of the season, so we can see here 78% picking San Fran, rightfully so. I think 49ers will win this game, but I think it'll be a lot competitive than we were thinking like maybe 2 weeks ago when Gino wasn't looking too shabby, But I think I think it's gonna go more like last week. I think it's gonna go over. So take the over, and I'm taking the spread. 10.5 spread. I'm taking that. They played against Cowboys defense, which is legit. What, top 5? 49ers defense is up there as well, but Cowboys defense is definitely no slouches. They're elite. I think they can easily cover 10.5, especially if they get Kenneth Walker back. And after looking like they did last week, it's definitely positive signs. And for 49ers, this is a trap game. I feel like they got to keep doing what they do best. Chase Young is definitely turning around the defense. They had in the 3 games after they got him, they had 15 sacks. I don't know how many sacks they had last week, but definitely tell the defense has had some type of resurgence. So, with all that being said, I'm going 49ers, but I'm taking the spread. Trap game, but I don't think the 49ers get trapped.
All right, yeah. I'm on a different thought process. I think the 49ers stomp them again, especially at home this time. I just think Seattle, I think it's funny, oh yeah, this is the first win the Cowboys have against a team with a winning record, but after the loss, Seattle just has a 500 record. So in reality, you barely beat a team that was above 500. I don't think Seattle's all that good. I mean, you look at their last couple games, like it just kind of proves they're not that good. Anywho, moving on from them, look at some other games. I think another upset this week I got brewing. I'm just gonna say it out loud, and everyone's gonna be like, "No, you're stupid." But Chicago's gonna beat Detroit in Chicago. Mark it on the calendars right now. Chicago will beat Detroit at Chicago.
Very, very interesting. Okay.
I'm not sold on that game that Detroit had. And honestly, it's kind of one of those things that, like, now that you watch Detroit play, they just seem really, really predictable. And Detroit also seems like they're that team that, it just doesn't even use its best players to their fullest extent. Like Amon-Ra has barely been active the last 2 games, mainly because the passing game. I mean, basically all you gotta do is shut down the passing game, and then, okay, they just want to pound David Montgomery up the middle. That's all they want to do. But Jahmyr Gibbs runs to the outside and gets 60 yards. He only gets 8 carries, but gets 60 yards. But you're gonna run. What are you gonna? You're gonna run Montgomery 21 times and you get 58 yards. You're obviously not using the best tools that you have. Am I saying that as a Jahmyr Gibbs fantasy holder?
Yes.
Partly, but it's also like it's just true value. Like, you're not using the best tools you have.
Okay.
I mean, David Montgomery he's all right, but he's not better than Jahmyr Gibbs in my opinion at this current state in the NFL. He's just not playing as good. He's also been hurt like 3 times this season.
That's always been his problem. Yeah.
He's been hurt like 3 times this season. I mean, I just think that the Bears, they get another upset, because you got to look at it another way. Like, the Bears, low key, they're playing for Eberflus. They're trying to make sure he doesn't lose his job. 2, honestly, you can tell that the Bears know they're getting the first overall pick. In the back of their heads, they know they got that first overall pick locked and ready to go. Carolina is so trash. They're so bad. They're not winning another game this season. You don't have to worry about number 1 overall pick. And honestly, maybe you can win a few more games and then hope a desperate team trades down again to get your 5th overall pick or 6th overall pick, whatever you're going to be at, because you're okay with that, because I get the first overall pick, and then next year you just do the same thing again, because you're going to try to give Justin Fields one more year, Yeah, because we're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. with the first overall pick. Even though I don't know if that's going to happen, because wide receivers going first almost never happens. But, his father was really good, so he might be a generational talent. But no, I just think Chicago is like this. They're playing for broke. They got nothing to lose. Who cares? Let's just go out and let's just ruin our division rivals season at home. It's completely possible. They almost beat him the first time. Jared Goff has not looked good the last couple games. Yeah, they came back against the Saints, but they went up 21-0 in the first quarter, and then almost blew it. So I'm just not sold on the Lions the last couple games. Basically, ever since Thanksgiving has just been an eye opener about the Lions. People figured out their defense and figuring out that it is very penetrable. You can easily get some yards on that defense. So.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely figured out that if Hutchinson doesn't have a great game, that defense is very average. So I like that, and I'm definitely taking the over. Over in points, yeah, that's going to happen. All right, my second game. We're going to go Buffalo, Kansas City. 4:25 CBS. I feel like this week the 4:00 games are way juicier than like the past like 3 or 4 weeks. Like, these are some juicy 4:00 games.
I mean, 49ers Eagles was on last week at 4:00, and then Bills Eagles before that was at 4:00.
Yeah, but we have 3 games that are juicy. That's just 1 out of 3. The past couple weeks we got 3. I mean, even the Chargers and Broncos is pretty spicy because all those have somewhat playoff implications. Now for this one, I don't know if the over is going to hit. I would probably lean under. I don't think Kansas City has enough offense, to be honest. Especially, they just struggle so much in the second half. It's hard to predict. Like, I remember last week when they were playing the Packers, and we all were like, "Should we take the spread?" Like, yeah, it's pretty much a sure thing. Like, they can't lose even though they're down by a lot. But in the second half, they just cannot score. Like, they might get like one touchdown or one field goal, but then that's it. Like, they struggle so much. I don't know what it is, but so I think the key to this one, if Kansas City wants to win, they have to take the lead and then just hold on to it. Because, like I said, second half they can't really score. And for Buffalo, they're coming off a bye week. You have 2 weeks to prepare for this game. You just got to come out, show some energy. Offense has looked slightly better with them firing the offense coordinator, but you got to find a way to give Diggs the ball. I think he needs to have a big game. Josh Allen needs to stop trying to do everything by himself, spread the wealth. There's plenty of weapons, I know, but I think it starts with Diggs. Look at Chase. Cincinnati's like 5-0 this season. If Chase has 10 catches, like Diggs needs to have like at least 9 to 10 catches. Like, you gotta get your best guy the ball.
They just need to stop playing Gabe Davis as if he's something, because he's just not, dude. He's just not.
He's just not.
They just try. Like, he had one really good playoff game. I mean, as it stands, and in my opinion, Gabe Davis will just be always known as that guy who had one really good playoff season, one good playoff run. Well, it's just one playoff game, I think. And
yeah,
really,
that's all. They had a run. They've only made the divisional round.
That's all he's ever really done is had one really good playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, this is win or go home for the Bills. If you lose this game, you're done. Especially in the AFC. If you don't win this game, it's over. Because you're not catching Miami if you lose this game. Because in my opinion, Miami's going to beat Tennessee Titans Monday night, because the Titans can't play good on the road. If Tennessee was at home, it would be a different story. I could see an upset happening, but
Tennessee hasn't won a game on the road all season.
Tennessee has not won a game on the road all season. Miami only wakes up to play bad teams with bad records, so
yep.
They don't play good teams with good records that well. I mean, Buffalo literally has to win basically the rest of the season. They get to have one slip up, and you don't want to make the one slip up you get against the Chiefs. That's one of those games that, like, as you're looking at it, you kind of need to beat them to hope you get leverage over them, sort of deal.
I think so, because you got to hope that you beat the Chiefs, then the Chiefs are 9-5. Then the Chiefs definitely, at the very least, will probably only have one home playoff game, and then maybe you catch them in the second round, and then whoever has the better record at that point gets the home game, and then maybe then you can beat Mahomes in playoffs. But I think you're right. They got to win this one. They probably will still make the playoffs if they lose this one, but especially with Trevor Lawrence. He's out. They say he might. They didn't completely rule him out this week, but I don't think he plays this week.
100% does not play this week. He does
high
not
ankle
play
sprain.
this week.
You're not coming back after just 1 or 2 weeks. He's probably 3 to 4 weeks out.
He's out until the last game before the postseason.
Yeah, they need to stop with that. Oh, he might play. He might not play. Nah, that man is not playing. He couldn't even walk off the field. Yeah, but they got a bunch of backup quarterbacks all in the hunt in the AFC. So they gotta. This is the easiest kind of path that they have. They gotta win some of these games. They necessarily don't have to win this one, I feel like, but all the other ones on their schedule, they gotta step up to the challenge.
You're talking about the Bills?
Yeah, Chiefs. They're straight. No, they're gonna win the division, but they probably won't have a. They probably only have one home playoff game, I feel like.
So the problem with the Bills is the rest of your schedule is Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins. So arguably the last game of the season should be an easy win because the Dolphins at that point might not have much to play for. They might be solidified, guaranteed into a certain spot because Buffalo probably is not going to catch them, but you don't want to have to risk it for that. You're probably going to beat the Patriots, but you already lost one time to the Patriots, so you don't want to be too crazy about it. But the Cowboys game, that might be your mulligan game. Like that might be the one time you get to say, like, oh man, it is what it is. We lost. Like I'm just saying, like I don't want. I know it is at Kansas City, but I'd rather coming off the bye week and everything that I have going. You got to win this game against Kansas City, and then you allow your mulligan game. Like, okay, we lost one of the run on the stretch. You get Dallas or Los Angeles because Los Angeles, yeah, they should beat the Chargers, but the Chargers are also in the same boat. They need to win. They need to win bad, and it's on a Peacock Saturday game. So there's going to be some screwy shit with it because there's not going to be enough people watching it. When there's a game that's like, not classified, but, it's off into its own little dimension on Peacock, you can kind of piddle with it because how many people are actually going to get Peacock to watch it? No one
Well, it's
who
a
doesn't.
Saturday game, so I don't even know how much viewership they pull on a Saturday night.
And it's also during bowl season, so who knows what everyone's going to be doing.
Well, it's probably going to pull more than a bowl game, but depending on what NBA or UFC is going on that night.
I'm just saying, man. They're putting it on Peacock on a random Saturday right before Christmas, trying to get people to watch it. But in reality,
wait, is this the Peacock only one, or is this the NBC? Or is this an NBC / Peacock one?
No, this is Peacock only. So
Ooh.
This is one of those things that like there's going to be some weird stuff going on in that game. So maybe that's the game you want to say that. Yeah, we should have won. The refs got us. It's good. We're gonna beat this. We're gonna beat the Patriots. We're gonna beat Miami. Regardless, I still think that you get 2 weeks to prepare for them. Kansas City looks very vulnerable. You can't lose this game. Like you just can't. And that's just the one way to look at it. Like Buffalo is looking at it in the same way. We cannot, no matter what, lose this game because you might as well just call it quits at that point.
You never want any.
Yeah, I think we both have some good points there. Let's talk about this other game that we both have on our radar: Philly, Dallas rematch. This time we're in Jerry World, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium. 8:20, another primetime game. I'll let you go first. Who do you got winning?
Cowboys by 6.5.
Ooh.
I think the Eagles are really banged up, and at this point in the season, they're trying to fill holes that they're getting from injuries, signing random guys off the street and stuff. Yeah, those guys are fit and ready to go, but they're not used to the game plan. They're not fully with the chemistry. Honestly, the Kevin Byard trade has not worked out in their favor at all, in my opinion. It just does not seem he's fully immersed into the defense. What's his name? Blankenship. Blankenship has looked like a much better safety than he has. So I kind of thought they were going to use Byard as more of the linebacker safety, but if you're going to take reps away from Blankenship, that's questionable. He's having a really good season. I'll say it again. I don't think Darius Slay's having a very good season. I think the refs are making him have a much better season than he actually is. James Bradbury's been pretty average. And now that the offense, isn't firing on awesome cylinders anymore, people were figuring out what to do on certain downs against them to set up for the tush push, all this other stuff. A.J. Brown hasn't been that effective the last 2 weeks. Is it people game?
Whoa. He had what, 80, 90 yards last week?
Is it people game? Okay. A.J. Brown hasn't had very good games the last couple weeks. Is it because people are game planning differently for him, or I don't know what it could be? But A.J. Brown is not on that tremendous hot streak anymore. And because he's not on that tremendous hot streak anymore, now he wants to mouth off to his quarterback who, I'm sorry, but your quarterback's in MVP conversations. You might want to watch what you're saying. Just because you messed up your route don't mean you get to yell at him.
Yeah, he got a little too big for his britches just because I think during that hot streak he was in
He
the
was
MVP discussion.
unstoppable.
That and he was an MVP candidate, so he probably got hot headed and thought he was the shit. But you gotta remember Jalen Hurts literally accounts for all you guys' touchdowns. Like if he's not throwing it to you, he's running it in. So
Yeah.
you gotta slow your roll there, AJ. But yeah, this has Dallas written all over it. Jalen Hurts, you definitely can tell like his knee is really bothering him. I mean he's running fine, but I feel like everything else, like the arm strength, can't really like plant his leg and get some extra power from those legs. I'm not gonna go David Carr and say that they need to start Marcus Mariota over him. That was fucking ridiculous. That guy's an idiot. But I feel like if they lose this game, then they should probably sit Jalen for the last couple of games because I feel like home or away they probably can at least get to the NFC Championship game. I feel like Jalen's not getting better. I feel like he's getting worse every week. So
I think if they were going to bench Jalen, they should have done it when we said they should have done it the week before the bye week. That's when they should have sat him. You should have sat him the week before the bye week. I don't remember who they played. To be honest, doesn't really matter anymore because the game's already happened. But the week before the bye week, you should have sat Jalen, gave him 2 weeks off, so that way he could be ready for the main part of this gauntlet, the games that would really, really matter. The Bills game, last week's game, this week against the Cowboys. Like, you should have prepared him better for the gauntlet. It just kind of felt like you shoved him into the gauntlet, threw him right in the fire, basically to die. Of San Francisco, but it was Kansas City. The game against Kansas City is the game that was like, no one knows. It's the game before that, the bye week. So the game the week before the bye week.
they had Dallas, then the bye week.
Yeah, that would have been the game that you would have benched him. It was the Dallas game. That way you don't play your cards all on the table for Dallas to see, even though they know who you are. That doesn't matter. You don't let them see what you're going to do the first time around. So that way the second time around you can do whatever you want. But I mean, they should have prepared him a little better for the gauntlet. But now, at this point, you don't get to talk of benching Mariota or benching him for Mariota. He's going to have to play against Dallas. He's going to have to play against Seattle. You only get to talk about benching him if you beat Dallas and you beat Seattle. That's the only way you get to talk about benching him. Because I think Mariota can beat the Giants. I think he can beat Arizona.
and beat the Giants again.
I don't know. I think the Giants game, you would start Jalen Hurts. You'd give him 2 weeks off, but I don't want him going into the postseason cold. I need him to have a game under his belt right before he goes in. I don't really understand when they sit the guys the last week of the season. I get it if like you sit him in the third quarter and stuff like that, third, fourth quarter, but like the whole game.
But if they get the bye, then I would probably sit him then. Because if they get the bye, then what's the point of playing 1 week and then the whole team's gonna be off the next week anyway? So you might as well just sit him. I would just sit him if they get the bye.
Fit, ready. I want him ready to go. I want him to go out there and absolutely annihilate the Giants, absolutely terrorize them, and get all the confidence in the world. Suck all the confidence out of.
I think he sits the last 2 games. I think it depends. They have to win the next 2 out of 3 for him to sit the next 2 games. They'll sit the last 2 games. They have to win the next 2 out of 3.
Hey, listen, this is NFL, baby. He ain't sitting. He's playing the rest of the season.
If they want to win a Super Bowl, I bet his ass is gonna sit.
They don't care about that. They care about ratings. Now, Mariota don't get no ratings.
Yeah. Unless he wants to make the MVP push, because he definitely. I get all the Brock Purdy talk, but I mean Jalen Hurts is the MVP right now. They got the best record.
What
They're
about
playing
Dak
the
Prescott?
best. No, you can't be the MVP beating up on bad teams, and then you lose to the good teams.
Dak Prescott was second in MVP conversation.
That Vegas will take all your money if you vote for Dak Prescott. He's beaten bad teams and has looked bad against the good teams. Would not.
I'm just giving you the stats, Markel. I didn't
know.
do
I
anything.
know.
I'm just giving you the stats. Stats had him ranked second.
I'm gonna pick Philly. I don't think they lose 2 in a row. I feel like this will be another close game, but I don't feel like they're not gonna lose 2 in a row, especially not to the Dallas. I know last year they split because what's his name came in. Minshew? Did Minshew come in last year?
Yeah, and Minshew
and almost won. Yeah,
he had that awesome game, and the defense was the one that let him down.
Let him down, yeah.
Because I forgot how much he put up. Didn't he put up like 34 or 38 against the Cowboys defense?
Yeah, he had like 4 touchdowns, but he also had like 2 picks though, right?
No, okay. Everyone always says he has 2 picks, but he only had 1 pick. That last pick don't count. It was on the final drive. There was like 40 seconds left. He was just trying to push the ball down the field. That interception doesn't really count. That thing don't matter.
Okay, we're not counting that one. So he only had 1 pick. He played good, so I think the Cowboys defense can be had, aka look at Seattle. They torched them. Bland got picked on. Unfortunately, he still got an interception, not a pick 6, but DK Metcalf had his way with him, and they got AJ Brown. He's going to do more of the same. So if they can feed the dragon, Jalen Hurts can not turn the ball over. I feel like they can win this one. It'll be close. It'll probably be like similar score to last game. It'll probably be like 31-28, something like that.
Get down, Jiggy, with it.
All right, folks. That's what we got. Week 14. Good slate of games. Any honorable mentions? I'm going to go Colts, Cincinnati. Jake Browning was cooking last week. Zach Taylor finally figured out, hey, if I somewhat play equal amount of run and pass, we might have a chance. And then you can run some play action. And then maybe Jake Browning has a chance. Even though I want you to tank, if Jake Browning can keep cooking, might as well cook our way into the playoffs. See what happens.
Cook. I guess I don't even know if it's a. Give me the line. Let me see the line real quick. Give me that line of Vegas versus Minnesota. Let me see what that line is at. I haven't looked at it. Ooh, they got Minnesota as a 2.5 favorite. Give me Vegas. Yeah, give me Vegas.
Do we even know who's gonna start quarterback for Minnesota? Did they even say?
Right there it says Kirk Cousins. So Big Kirko is about to go ham with a non-existent.
That's just stats. He is at home
with a non-existent Achilles. He's about to go ham. Did you see him crawling into the beach? Most recently on TikTok. Yeah, Kirk Cousins went to the beach and he crawled into the beach. No, I'm pretty confident. It's like Miriam or something. I don't know his name. It starts with the M.
So Dobbs isn't going to get the start.
I don't think Dobbs is getting the start, as the last thing I heard. But I'm sorry, but the Raiders have looked decent. They've looked dangerous.
5-7 is not bad.
But the thing about the Raiders is they're 4-2 at home, and under the new coach, they've looked really, really good. So I'm just going to ride the wave that the coach is bringing them, because obviously he's doing something right. He's got his guys playing correctly. If you think about it, he's just doing what Steve Wilkes did last year for Carolina. And you look at that mistake that they made. Maybe Vegas won't make the same mistake, because you get a coach that lets players play for him. You keep them around. That's what you do. You don't get rid of them.
I agree.
So when you got a guy who wants to play, and you got players that want to play for him, yeah, you keep the coach around. So
I like it. All right, with that, that's our games of the week. Week 14 NFL. Enjoy the action. But before you do that, we got NBA in-season tournament. Semifinals are tomorrow and finals are Saturday. So we will preview NBA those games coming up next. Semifinals. It's going down Thursday. We have the two quarterfinal, I think is what they called them, happened the past 2 nights. Lakers won, Pelicans won, Bucks won, and Pacers beat the brakes off the Celtics. So
listen, we called it, except for the Kings. But if you go back to our recording, we thought McCollum wasn't going to play. And if you ask me, pivotal piece of that game was McCollum. He was hitting timely shots, and he was a voice of reason on the sideline. Now, did Brandon Ingram steal the spotlight? Oh, of course he did. That's just what he do.
Was Zion a fat ass and didn't fully play? Yes.
Yep. Did Jonas Valanciunas dominate Sabonis? Yes.
Yes.
But Sabonis also got his, so we can't even say to Sabonis, you're a bum. So, at the end of the day, Sabonis got a little overtaken by Jonas Valanciunas, but at the end of the day, he got his. Valanciunas got his. Who really didn't come out was basically the rest of the Kings. And Zion.
Didn't show up.
Zion did not show up. But McCollum was the difference in that game. But our buddy in our chat didn't believe us when we said Indiana Pacers were going to win. I had some buddies at work who didn't believe me when I said Indiana Pacers were going to win. I told them all. I said, listen, Pacers are poor college students at this point. Metaphorically, they are poor college students. What happens when you wave a bunch of money in front of poor college students?
Yeah.
You're going to get
crazy.
all of them to play.
You go crazy.
Halliburton was like the only guy on that team who's not a poor college student. But there's also
Miles Turner.
But there's one thing about Tyrese Halliburton. He doesn't get to play in spotlight games. He doesn't get spotlight games.
It was the second one.
It was the second spotlight game. And he showed everyone. And so the worst thing about it is, what's his face? Wemby has had like 6 or 7 spotlight games just this season.
He has one tonight.
Yeah, he's got like 6 or 7 just this season. Halliburton's been around for like 3 years, right?
I think it's year 4 right now, yeah.
4? Okay. He's only had 1. That's so bad. That is so bad. So, at the end of the day, Halliburton was going to show up. And I don't know about you, Markel, but I'm kind of ready to ride this Pacers wave all the way till the end. But I don't know. Milwaukee just might be a little too much, especially at home. Just might be a little too much.
So the semis and the finals are in Vegas. So right now they're in Vegas. That's why this game has a weird start time. This is starting at 5, which is when I get off of work. So I don't know if I'll be able to catch this one, but.
All right.
Weird start time, 5, and then the Lakers and Pels start at like 9. Another weird start time, which I like the 9 o'clock start time. The 5 o'clock one, I'm not really down with.
I think the 5 o'clock one was just trying to. I guess it was trying to get away from Monday night, Sunday night. I don't even wonder. Thursday night football.
Thursday night football, yeah.
Try to avoid it a little bit. Maybe that way they can have guaranteed ratings for the first game. They know everyone's gonna watch the second game because of LeBron. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's
that
wrong,
makes sense. I would have put it at 6. If you put it at 6, you got people coming off of work, and then it's like 3 o'clock on the West Coast. So then that's like people start to get off work then. So it's like a good middle ground, and it's like 2 hours before Thursday night football. That would have been the sweet spot. But anyway, so you gonna go with the Pacers? I'm gonna go Bucks. I think Bucks.
No, I think the Bucks win,
okay.
but I'm completely down to ride the Pacers wave. But in my honest opinion, I just think at this point in time, the Bucks are they're just a way better team.
Yeah.
I know Indiana leads the series. They will beat them by 2 the first time. I just think that there's too many players on the Bucks team, and you can tell the Bucks are using this tournament as preparing for the postseason.
I think this comes down to the Pacers not being able to score enough. I feel like they have enough to go hit for one game if everyone is hot like they were last game. I don't know if they have enough, energy left in the tank to go shot for shot in this game. I feel like they might have used up all their magic because this is going to be a high scoring game. I think because even when the Bucks played the Knicks, didn't the Bucks put up like 140 or something like that? Like it's crazy. Like I don't think the Pacers can put. Yeah, I don't think the Pacers can put up 140. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
they did against Miami. Oh, they did it twice. Maybe they can.
Oh, they 100% can put that points up. The problem with it is they don't play really good defense.
Well, neither team does.
When Milwaukee can put up 146 and you can put up 144, oh man, Honestly, this is just screaming hit that under because 254. We're basically asking both teams to be in the 130s.
Oh, it's going to happen. Did you see every single game? Every single quarterfinal game was just high scoring, besides the Lakers. But that was just because they were missing a bunch of shots. I feel like every other game was high scoring. If you're doing parlays, I would not do rebounds because I did that and I didn't get any rebound props.
No rebound props.
Only assists.
I think this one's a lot easier to call. I think the Bucks will win, even though, like I said, I'd rather see the Pacers win. I think it would be way more fun and entertaining to watch the Pacers win as well. But I feel like this one's a little bit more easy to call.
Let's move on to the Lakers. So we both got the Bucks. Pelicans, Lakers, the 9 o'clock game on TNT. What are you feeling?
I'm going Pelicans, and I'm locking that one in.
Oh.
I'm going Pelicans, and I'm locking that one in. Just based on the last game, I think Valanciunas can put up an effort against Anthony Davis. Valanciunas might even be able to bully Anthony Davis a little bit.
Oh,
especially with Zion also banging him as well. You know, two dudes banging Anthony Davis. He might crumble and crack like the little boy he is. I think B. Ingram, I think he's going to have another game. He's going to go against LeBron. He's going to go show him up. I think Brandon Ingram also plays really good against all Laker teams. Every time he plays the Lakers, he always looks really good.
Yep.
And I honestly, no offense to the Lakers, but when the Pelicans bench comes into the game, they do a whole lot more than what the Lakers bench does. And I think that's where the game will be won and lost for them, is the middle of the third going into the fourth and the late into the first going into the second. There's going to be big swings in that game. And all the Pelicans need to do is learn how to close those games out. They did say that the Pelicans, when holding a lead in the fourth quarter, had consistently kept losing. But I also think that also had a lot to do with the fact that CJ McCollum wasn't there. I mean, they literally just missed him for like a whole month. So
this is true.
I think a big part of it, he's the freaking leader. You might, at the end of the day, he's the oldest guy, and he's the one that tells them what to do, and they just listen. He is their LeBron James. Is he better than LeBron James? No, don't matter. He's still a leader.
Okay, I hear you. I think you're right with the rotations. I feel like I wouldn't say the Pelicans bench is better. I feel like their just rotations are better because they've been together longer. For whatever reason, Darvin Ham is still having difficulties with his rotations. They got Vando back. I don't think Gabe Vincent's back, but at least you have Vando. Why is Vando not starting? Why is Taurean Prince still in the starting lineup? Why? I mean, it's just like little things like that. He's still, instead of like the 3 guard lineup, he's running like the 4 forward lineup, which is really weird. At first, I thought he was kind of cooking when he did that, but obviously it doesn't really work all that well. D-Ham's rotations are just terrible. They're a tragedy. He needs to be they need to be researched because I don't know what's going in this man's head. With that being said, though, I feel like this has Lakers written all over it. I think Anthony Davis is going to have another big game. He kind of fell off in the Suns game in the second half, but he had a monster first half. I think he had like 20 points at the half. Second half, he only scored like 6 points. I think this will be a complete game going against his old team. He's going to show him up, show him why he has to get traded, all that good stuff. LeBron, I think this tournament has really inspired him just to kind of be like, all right, I'm the oldest guy out here. Got to be the first one to win it. It's like another like kind of accolade to add to his trophy, his big old trophy case in his whatever palace that he wants to put it in, And they play well against the Suns. I felt like they would come out slow. Even though they're at home, I thought they would come out slow and look sluggish. But no, that team, I think in a short stretch of time, they can be really focused and locked in. And I think they only have 2 more games to go, basically. So I feel like they can have enough focus and enough energy put into the next 2 games. So I'm gonna go Lakers. I would take the over. Yeah, I'm taking the over. Lakers do struggle to score in the fourth. Pelicans, like you said, constantly lose leads in the fourth. So it'll be interesting to see how the game goes up into the fourth. It's basically going to come down to who plays better in the fourth because both teams so far this season just have duds in the fourth for whatever reasons.
Whatever. You ride your little Ron. You do whatever you gotta do. I know what you gotta do. Anywho, give me them Pelicans. Give me them
It's
Pels.
crazy. 59% is going Pelicans. That's insane.
Give me them Pels.
I think this has Lakers, Bucks written all over. I think that's what the NBA wants.
Give me them Pels. NBA doesn't
All
get
right.
to write their own scripts. This ain't
So
no NFL.
With that being said, Saturday is the finals. So we both have the Pacers. You have the Pels, have the Lakers. Who do you have winning the whole thing though?
Well, you said we both had the Bucks, not the Pacers.
Oh yeah, we're both picking Milwaukee to win.
Dude,
so
Milwaukee's winning it all.
okay.
It's Dame time, baby. Dame's gonna win himself something for the first time in his life. You know,
Jesus.
let Dame have it, okay? Let Dame have it. Let Dame Dollar have it.
So you think Milwaukee will beat the Pelicans?
I think Milwaukee beats Pelicans or Lakers, whoever they show up against. Whoever comes to fight that fight is going to get knocked right out.
All right. I think I'm going Bucks Lakers. I think Lakers will win that. Goat James will have another trophy to put on his wall. But somehow the Lakers lose to the Pels. If it's Pels Bucks, I think you're right. I think the Bucks will beat the Pelicans. And then Dame time, Giannis will have their first little trophy that they can go celebrate with that little trophy they get, but probably the only trophy they get together, honestly.
Whoa. You're such a hater, man.
No. I just don't think that I mean, they're good, but they're not going to beat the Celtics.
Man, you go
They're
drink
not
your
making it to the finals, and they make it to the finals. They're not beating anyone out west. They can't play no defense.
You go drink your haterade somewhere else.
But as I tell everyone, if Goat James plays, I watch. If that means I have to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So I support my guy. That's my guy. He's going to win this whole thing.
He's crazy.
And that's
everyone. He's crazy.
Hey, he's year 21. We don't know how many more seasons he's going to play. So you gotta watch all the games.
Wait until he joins the big three. He'll be awesome in that.
Oh God, I hope he never stoops down to that level. I hope he never does that. Cool. So that's the NBA in-season tournament guides. That's our little preview of Thursday's and Saturday's game, or Saturday to be determined game. Let's transition. College football playoffs. We finally have the final four teams. I'll let you take this one first, Lawrence. How do we feel about FSU being left out?
Whoa. Why do I have to go first? All right.
I'll go first then. I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. Yeah, you say it first.
Like we said last week, no SEC team was going to get let out. Unfortunately, that meant Florida State had to get the boot. Does it suck? Yes. Is it fair? No. Is it fair to the players? No. They're undefeated. They're a conference champion. But I think, what's that guy's name on ESPN? The old guy. He said it best. Or no, I think it was Dano. Dano said it best. He said, the Florida State team that you saw with Jordan Travis is not the same one the past 2 weeks because they looked atrocious. It was just their defense won them those games. They looked atrocious. They could barely beat Louisville, and they barely beat Florida. If they had, trampled them like 50-0, like Stephen A. said that, Ohio State did when they lost JT Barrett, and what's his name? Cardale Jones stepped in and which was kicking ass, then you have a good case of FSU being in there. But they didn't kick ass. They kind of just looked horrible, looked like ass, and that's why they got left out. And you can't pit Alabama above Texas, so why not pit both of them in there?
All right. Well, to be fair, Louisville was ranked number 14 in the country. So obviously they're not bums. So give respect where respect is due.
The quarterback looked like a bum though. Jesus.
They beat the 14th ranked team in the country. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, the only way out was to do the emergency. What everyone was always saying, the emergency 6-man tournament or 6-man NCAA final, where you gave Washington, Michigan the bye week.
The byes, yeah.
And then you made Texas play Georgia, and you made Alabama play Florida State. In my opinion, that was literally the only way that it was going to be fair. So they decided, no, we're not. We're going to honor what we are this year. And in my opinion, I think they should have put Florida State in. And I think they should have put in Alabama at 4. And but at the end of the day, what really should have happened is they put Florida State at 3 and they put Texas at 4. That's really how it should have been, because Texas did beat Alabama. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at it one of two lights, right? If you tell Texas that you played Alabama at the beginning of the season, and they play them at the beginning of the season for a reason, because they need a marquee win for the later in the season. And if you put Alabama in there and you don't put Texas in there, then what was the whole point of Alabama or Texas ever playing Alabama in the first place? There would have been no point at all, because you didn't even honor the win. So I understand why, but at the very end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's not the same team. You kind of have to honor the fact of like a team overcoming all odds. You don't know what would have happened. Any game can be any game. You don't know what's going to happen. Florida State might have gotten Michigan, and Michigan, in my opinion, Michigan hasn't really played anybody but Ohio State.
Michigan would have licked their chops if they had Florida State.
Michigan hasn't played anybody but Ohio State.
And won pretty convincingly.
It was close. It was a 6-point game. Anywho.
Convincingly?
No, that's not convincingly. We would need 10 plus points to be convincing. I don't think Michigan's all that amazing. I also don't think Washington's all that amazing either. Washington has almost lost to a handful of bad teams. So, Alabama. The worst part about it is if Alabama didn't have that Iron Bowl comeback win, this wouldn't have been a conversation at all.
Well, of course, yeah, because even if you do beat Georgia with 2 losses, you're not getting in there.
At the end of the
day,
they
won.
At the end of the day, I'm glad that next year, I thought it was going to be 8 teams, but apparently it's 12 teams.
Yeah, I don't know where we got that from, but I always thought it was 8 too. But maybe that was like their first like draft of what they wanted to do, and then they changed it last minute. So instead of 8, let's do 12. I don't know.
I always thought it was 8, but it is 12. And of those 12 teams, you scroll down a little bit, Oklahoma would have been the cutoff point. The top 4 would have gotten a bye. And, I'm completely fine with leaving LSU out because LSU did not look all that good this year. Honestly, the one team that is kind of a bummer that gets left out is Arizona. Arizona is kind of a bummer team that gets left out because Arizona did look really good at multiple points in this season. But, it is what it is. You got left out. You should have won one more game and not lost one more game. But anywho, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this 12-man format. And honestly, if Florida State beats Georgia, then by all means, if Florida State calls themselves national champions, like what was it? University of Central Florida did, and
they still do
in 2006, 2005, something like that.
I think Pat said West Virginia still calls themselves the national champion when they were they went 12-0 like many years ago. So I think any team that's undefeated thinks they're the champs, even back in the BCS days.
Listen, if Florida State beats Georgia, and
not going to happen.
I'm completely fine with it because Georgia is 2-time national champion. Georgia low-key should have been in, and so if they win, props to you. call yourself national championships.
Low
Are you,
key, yeah, they should have been in. How are you
are
not
you
going to be able to defend your championship? That's
are
kind
you
of fucked up.
are you actual national champions? No, but just call yourself it. It is cool. It's cool. It is what it is.
Moving on, last topic, Heisman finalists. The 4 finalists is what? Daniels from LSU, Marvin Harrison Jr., Penix Jr., and Bo Nix. Who you got as your Heisman? The
You
trophy is on Saturday.
you give it to Penix, dude. There's no question.
Undefeated conference champion. Let me pull up his stats.
Well,
He has pretty
you give
decent
it.
stats, right?
Well, he has really good stats, but you also have to think he beat the guy who's also in the running for the Heisman twice. He beat Bo Nix twice. And if Bo Nix is in the running and he beat you twice, then he kind of deserves it a little bit more than you do. Now, I can understand why everyone thinks Jalen Daniels should get it. I do somewhat understand, but I mean, he didn't. You know, he was okay, but his team didn't win. I mean, right there it says Jalen Daniels is going to win, but
Well, to be fair, I think Stephen A. brought up today that Lamar Jackson, RG3, and someone else won the Heisman with three losses. So it's not unprecedented.
But I think when Lamar won, I don't think there was an undefeated team that year.
I don't even know.
And I don't think Lamar had the same level of I don't remember who Lamar's competition room was, but I mean, my opinion, I just think Penix had the best season. I mean,
He
he went 13-0.
The Pac-12 was pretty good this season.
It was low-key stacked, which is so sad that they're leaving. That all of them are jumping ship. So it makes it the worst.
Yeah, I mean,
they're gonna give it to LSU. They're gonna give it to Jalen Daniels. I think mainly because the Pac-12 was disbanded. I think that's what it's mainly going to come down to.
So they want one more Pac-12 Heisman before they call it quits.
Yeah, I think they don't want to give it to a Pac-12 team or a Pac-12 player right before it's all over. And also, I mean, his stats aren't even as good either. But in my opinion, he kind of faced a little bit more tougher competition because everyone played them harder. I mean, everyone played them harder than they played LSU.
Everyone was going for Washington, yeah, because maybe teams didn't think they deserved to be that highly ranked and highly praised and all that good stuff like that.
Yeah, and you Pac-12 teams, they see another team doing well and they want to take advantage and destroy them. And LSU was kind of middle of the road. I mean, LSU did start off on the wrong foot, losing straight up at the beginning of the season to Florida State.
Yeah, first game.
They had a knock on their record right from the beginning. That didn't help them. So, I mean, I can understand to give it to Jalen Daniels. I just think that from the season he had, I think Penix should win it. I mean, I think he was the best quarterback in college football for most of the season, and basically almost all your finalists are quarterbacks, and it's kind of cut and dry.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Marvin Harrison at least got some Heisman consideration. It's very rare that a wideout gets consideration, much less. I mean, Devontae Smith was the last one to win as a wideout a couple of years ago, but he was just cooking folks back then. I mean, that was insane. But no love for Bo Nix. I feel like you can't win if you have 2 losses. And to the same 2 losses to the guy who's above you, you can't win. You can't vote for him. Come on now.
No, you can't.
I think Mad Dog said he voted for Penix just because I think he had a good stat. He said McDaniels had 9 TDs. 9 of his 50 TDs came against Grambling State and North Georgia State or North Alabama State or something like that. So 2 bad teams. 1/5 of your touchdowns came against 2 bad teams. I'll roll with that.
Another 1/5 of your what was it? It came against Ole Miss, and that game was completely zero defense. There was no defense played at all in that game. Which, if you watch any of the Pac-12 games, unless you were playing USC, there was always a lick of defense in every single game.
This is true. So yeah, we'll see. That's on Saturday night. Then we talk about it next week after they decide the winner. But that's pretty much it, guys. Well, rapid fire. Any final thoughts before we head on out?
It's a travesty that Marquette is destroying Texas so bad.
Ooh,
Yeah, they are absolutely killing them.
is Shaka Smart at Marquette now? Right?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna. I thought Texas would have put up a bigger fight than they are. They're just getting blown out hard.
How didn't Mason play Tennessee last night or 2 nights ago?
They did. In my opinion, I thought George Mason did really, really well for themselves in the first half. It was when the second half started. They just didn't start with the second half.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I watched most of the game. It was just, to be honest with you, there was just really nothing they could do about it. Tennessee is just bigger,
Faster, stronger.
I'm not gonna. I don't even know if I'd say faster, but they are definitely bigger and they are definitely stronger. And I think that really had all to do with it. I mean,
our team's mostly just new guys, like freshmen and sophomores, right? A bunch of newbies.
it's actually a lot of NIL transfers.
Okay.
This coach kind of knows what he's doing. He kind of just said, "Hey, man, let me just go get all these guys from around the league, who are kind of, what is it, the
Like castaways, kind of.
Land of misfit toys kind of thing. That's kind of the game plan they're going with.
Like they didn't get playing time on the old teams, and they looking to get playing time now.
Yep.
Nice.
But honestly, they said that they only had, of the starting 13, or not the starting 13, of the 13 guys they have on their roster, only 3
recruited.
of them were on Mason last year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the only one that we know is Polite. His name's Polite. He's the only one that's returning from last year that started. And honestly, he's pretty good. I think his name is Keyshawn Hall. But I just know his first name's Keyshawn. And let me tell you, Keyshawn is good. He is good. He's good.
Okay. We definitely got to catch some games in person pretty soon.
Their next game is on December 16th against Loyola of Maryland. So nothing amazing, but it's pretty good.
Decent team, I guess.
So Keyshawn Hall was on UNLV last year.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yep.
My only takeaway, Adam Silver was interviewed, I think it was today, about the Scott Foster thing, and basically he just said that both guys need to do their job, and we all know that's not possible. All right, they have like 20 years of beef. How are they gonna both do their job when obviously, if you look at the last game, they both can't do their job. One guy got a little butthurt, ejected the other guy just because he could, and it all blew up. And for whatever reason, the NBA refuses to punish this guy and just tell him not to ref the games. They refuse it. So that makes me believe that there's even more some type of like underground handshake deal, or this man has like huge dirt on the NBA and they are scared to retaliate. That is my thinking behind that.
Well, I'm here for it. Yeah, I mean, he can do whatever he wants, man. That's just kind of how it is drawn up at this point.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems, I mean, you can't let the one ref in particular, I understand all of them are bad, but this one guy in particular is particularly bad when this one guy plays and there's a track record and there's obvious bad blood in history, and you can't discipline him in any type of way, shape or form, not even a fine. I think
just
that's a little
don't-
suspicious.
I just don't understand how they just can't keep them from playing against each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
Should be-
easy.
should
It's
be
clear
easy.
that he has something. He has some dirt. He has something against the NBA. That's why they're not taking action. But that's a topic for another day, I guess. Other than that, that's all I got. MTL Sports Podcast, episode 57. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy in-season tournament. Enjoy some NFL. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.